Hi, good afternoon. I'm Jordan Dove. Today is Wednesday, January 26, 2022. I hope everyone is doing great. You know, just I really enjoy being here. I really enjoy being here and spreading some knowledge. I actually spoke to somebody who had emailed me about a video. We spoke for like 30 minutes today. Yeah, he's from the Bay Area. We had a great conversation about real estate investments and the markets and the Fed possibly raising rates, and it was just really awesome. And I really enjoyed it. But today, we're going to discuss the ever so important home inspection and due diligence process when you are purchasing a property, and how right now in these market conditions, this is one of the only ways to get leverage against a seller and hopefully get you some closing costs. So I'm going to discuss this to you, how you can use the inspection as leverage to get some money from the seller. Okay. Also, on the topic, which is really hotly debated right now, about a real estate bubble, economic bubble. So, on the topic of housing and a market crash, many people are presuming a financial meltdown, which could, in and of itself, create more inventory, as people could be in a dire enough situation that they would need to liquidate their assets or their homes. So, with that said, however, do not hold your breath in micro scale issues. Real estate appreciation is still possible. Nominal values increased in the last 3 out of 5 business cycles. So keep in mind, everybody thinks a bubble is right around the corner. And if everyone thinks that and changes their behavior accordingly, it could be like a reverse self-fulfilling prophecy. Remember, part of the issue of the last housing bubble pop was that everybody thought real estate always goes up. Now, everyone thinks that it eventually crashes down. Ironically, neither of those statements are wrong. So, into the markets, guys. Markets have been getting pummeled. Everybody is catching falling knives. Do we have a dead cat bounce right here? So I'm looking at the markets right now. Did you go cash? Did you sell and go cash? What are your plays? Are you out of tech and into banking stocks? I don't know. Powell has been speaking this afternoon, and in response, the bond yields are rocketing. Prices of things are going to rise, and the cost to acquire cash is going to rise. So what does that mean to you? Let me know in the comments what's going to happen. 10-year was down a little bit this morning, and now our Fed Chairman Powell has been speaking. It's skyrocketed up at a 1.835%. I predict we're going to see a 2% 10-year here very shortly. 30-year fixed national mortgage of locked rates nationally sitting at 3.66%. The cost of cash is going up. The buying power of people who are obtaining financing is going down. It's going to get really interesting to see what happens. Okay, so let's get into the due diligence and home inspection process. Once you have an accepted purchase agreement, which is the offer, and escrow is open, you make your earnest money deposit, which is a deposit that you make with a title or escrow company. The earnest money deposits is funds that will be used towards your down payment or closing costs at closing. The EMD, or the earnest money deposit, may seem to you like another out-of-pocket cost you have to cover during the home buying process, but it's extremely important. It protects you, the buyer, if something is wrong with the property. It protects the seller if you simply want out of the deal without a valid legal reasoning, and it proves to the seller that you are serious about your offer. Right now, in this current market, in this climate, in this condition, higher earnest money deposits are being put down to make an offer stronger. Now, based on the contract and the laws of your state or jurisdiction, in my state of Nevada, the earnest money deposit can be returned to the buyer if they decide to get out of the agreement during their due diligence period, which I'm going to discuss with you guys. Okay? After your earnest money is received, this is when you're going to have your home inspection done. Most due diligence periods are 10 days, 10 calendar days, but can be shorter or longer depending on the situation and how you want to construct your offer. Okay, but keep in mind, when choosing a home inspector, they are not all the same. You need to look for a home inspector who is thorough, hyperactive. You want somebody who's going to find all the little things and take their time during the inspection. Now, if you're looking to save a buck, a couple $100 or $100 or whatever, go for it. But I do not recommend that. You can go with a lower end inspector, but keep in mind you are going to get what you pay for. The person who I recommend to my clients, I do give them 3 options, but my number 1 inspector that I recommend is Charles Bulfer with Vegas Inspect. He's out here in my market. In my experience, he has been the best of a dozen or so that I've used or clients have used. He's a true authority in the marketplace. He's been featured on the local news. So all around great guy. He actually came to one of my wedding parties. He's also hyperactive, diligent home inspector who truly goes above and beyond. This is the type of home inspector you want to find. And if you're working with a quality, competent agent, they're going to have a home inspector like Charles. Okay? And the reason why you want all of these little items on the report is because it adds up. It's extremely difficult to get a discount on a home right now, and many buyers and investors are waiving appraisals, paying above market value, willing to pay tens of thousands of dollars above appraised value, and more. I'm starting to see more people willing to pay the property transfer tax, which is typically paid for by the seller. I'm starting to see buyers pay for that. I'm starting to see it get split 50-50. I'm seeing buyers pay for all the escrow fees. It's really interesting what people are doing to make their offer stronger. But anyways, the home inspection that you're going to have is going to go through all the major systems of the home: electrical, plumbing, appliances, HVAC, the heating system or furnace. If you have a pool, they're going to check the pool systems, inspect the roof, look for pests, active leaks, and so much more. Okay? You want to make sure that they are thorough because this process informs you of the possible defects of the home that you might be purchasing or building or structure or whatever it is you're purchasing. Okay? If something major is happening at the property, like structural defects where the walls or the roof can collapse, in my market, you can cancel the purchase agreement due to items found in the inspection, and you would be entitled to receive your earnest money deposit back. You could also use this leverage to get a massive price reduction if that is something you would consider. I do know that there are some states where earnest money cannot be returned, so it's best to discuss that with a competent licensed real estate professional. In those markets, I would assume you put in a small earnest money deposit. In my market, in a lot of the markets, usually 1% to 2% of the purchase price is the earnest money deposit we are going to be putting down on the home, again, which goes towards our closing costs or down payment. Okay? In our market, you can get it back for other reasons as well, such as the property doesn't appraise, your loan contingency, if there's an HOA, if there's something you see on the SRPD, the property disclosure, which are required in Nevada. Other states that's not required, but there is a lot of ways to get out of the contract. Okay? So what you're going to do after the inspection is you're going to get back what's called the inspection report. And you're going to go through it with your agent. And in our purchase agreement contract, you were supposed to ask for things that affect the material value of the home. So if you have a chip in the paint, a small little chip in the paint, guys, that's cosmetic. That's not going to affect the value of the home when there's an appraisal done. They're not looking for that kind of stuff. But there are items like stuff that isn't up to code, like the GFIs. If those aren't up to code, outdoor weather covers on electrical outlets, a cracked seal in a window where you'll see moisture in between the panes of the glass. These are items that you're going to ask for to get repaired or credited. Now, most sellers do not want to do the work to repair these items and will instead, in many cases, offer a credit. Now, you're going to have type A personalities who are like, hey, I'm going to fix everything. You're going to have type B personalities like, I don't want to do anything. Okay, but this is one of the ways that you can use this as leverage to reduce your closing costs. If there's 10 outlets not up to code, get $250 or whatever. If there's some corrosion on valves under a sink but no leaks, get a credit, okay? These are things that are going to add up that you're going to ask for. And all these things, believe me, will add up. So make sure your agent is competent enough to negotiate and figure out how to get these credits for you based on what you want to do. Alternatively, you can have them fix these items, and if they refuse, you can cancel the purchase agreement. Okay, now keep in mind, the home inspector is not going to go through detailed inspections of certain items. For example, if the inspector finds water moisture in an active leak using infrared. They're going to tell you that, hey, it's wet and it could, keyword could, lead to mold, and will recommend that you have it checked out by a professional of that industry. Another example is if they see some roofing damage, they will recommend a roof inspection by a licensed roofing contractor. I highly recommend that you get one of those because that could be a big ticket item for you to get addressed. It's also important to go through this process because you need to know what you're buying. Some food for thought and just some advice. Do not waive the home inspection. Do not waive it. Whether you're flipping the house, you're buying the house to live in, investment property, whatever, even though it makes your offer really strong, do not waive the home inspection. If you're willing to purchase the home as is, meaning the seller isn't going to do any repairs, that's great. If you want to do that, that's fine. That makes the offer stronger as well. But still get that home inspection, because if there's something crazy that you don't see with the naked eye, you may want to get out of that or go for a price reduction or do something different. Okay, your plan might change. So do not waive the home inspection, no matter how strong it makes your offer. Go through the home inspection, see what's on with the house, okay? You need to know if the property you are purchasing has good bones, and if it doesn't, renegotiate, get out, do what makes sense to you, okay? When we were in a strong buyer's market just not too long ago, sellers were more than willing to give concessions and credits pretty freely. In our contract, you could ask for $5,000 in closing costs. This is pretty common. If someone needed to break their lease and pay $3,000 to break their lease or whatever the terms of their lease were because they were renting, they could get that money from the seller, use that money to break their lease, and then purchase the home. This was much more common in a buyer's market, but we are in a very, very, very strong seller's market, and it's very difficult to get concessions or credits from the seller. So with that being said, this is one way where you can use your due diligence period in your inspection process. You can leverage that to get some money for closing costs to help bring your costs down, okay? So if you have any questions about the home inspection process, let me know. I'd love to educate you. Hopefully you found some of this information useful. Please like the channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I like hearing from you guys, and I've been seeing a ton of emails. There was an email address on one of my websites that was unmonitored, and I actually went through those emails yesterday setting up a new server to do some stuff. Anyways, I responded to those emails. There was over 60 emails from you guys, so I apologize for the delay. I have sent you my personal business email where you can reach me. So anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's great. I hope you have a very happy Wednesday. What's going on with those markets? What do you think the Fed's going to do? Do you think they're going to raise rates a quarter point or a half point in March? Let me know what you guys think. It's great being here. I hope you found something informational and of value here. Again, take care and be well. Until next time, see you guys.